Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood. Today we're going to be learning all about American football. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. The Super Bowl did not start off as one of the biggest events in American sports. The first AFL-NFL World Championship game was played in a half-empty stadium, leaving the organization scrambling to brand and publicize their event. Legend has it, marketing experts recommended they play off the popularity of Superman by calling it the Super Bowl. What do you think? Is this an actual fact or just too good to be true? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is gridiron. That's Gridiron. The gridiron is a term commonly used to refer to a football field. The word's origin, though, actually dates all the way back to the 17th century, before the game of football was even played, where a gridiron was a cooking utensil, a metal grate with parallel bars used for broiling food over a fire. Imagine a barbecue grill, and you've got the picture. So, how did the cooking grate become associated with a football field? The connection comes from the original layout of early football fields. Before the standardized markings we see today, fields were often marked with a series of parallel and perpendicular lines, creating a grid-like pattern, much like the bars on a gridiron. While modern fields have evolved and have different markings, the old name gridiron just stuck. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about American football. Number 1. The forward pass, a staple of modern American football, was once illegal and only introduced to the game to make it less dangerous. Before 1906, football was an even more brutal sport, resembling more of a rugby scrum than a strategic aerial game we know today. The rules heavily favored rushing plays, leading to massive pileups and frequent serious injuries, including several deaths each year. And this led to calls for significant rule changes, with some even advocating for getting rid of the sport entirely. President Theodore Roosevelt was a staunch advocate for physical activity, but also deeply concerned about the sport's dangers. He intervened and essentially issued an ultimatum to athletic leaders: either reform the game or face a presidential ban. And by this, he meant he would use his bully pulpit and immense public influence to effectively pressure the nation's colleges like Harvard, Yale, and Princeton to abolish or suspend football programs entirely. Since the sport was primarily played at the college level at that time, a mass abandonment by major universities would have essentially killed the game. This pressure directly led to the legalization of the forward pass in 1906, which was designed to open up the game, spread players across the field, and reduce the dangerous mass collisions that had been so prevalent. Number 2. The Lombardi Trophy, awarded to Super Bowl champions, is made by Tiffany and Company, and it costs a staggering $50,000 to produce. The iconic trophy, named in honor of the legendary Green Bay Packers coach Vince Lombardi, is a symbol of the ultimate achievement in American football. It stands 22 inches tall, weighs 7 pounds, and features a regulation-sized football in a kicking position on a 3-sided stand. Each year, a new trophy is handcrafted as the ultimate sign of exclusivity and prestige for the winning team. Tiffany and Company is renowned for its luxurious jewelry and unmatched craftsmanship. They've been creating the Lombardi Trophy since the very first Super Bowl in 1967. The meticulous process involves silversmithing, polishing, and engraving, taking about 4 months to complete. But all of that skill and dedication doesn't come for free. This isn't your average trophy or prize. It's a valuable sculpted work of art. And the price tag reflects it. Costs about $50,000 to produce just one of these trophies. Number 3. One player, Fred Schaffner, holds the unique distinction of being the only player in history to score a touchdown for both teams in a single professional football game. It happened in 1926 while he was playing for the Racine Tornadoes. And this kind of just shows you the early, chaotic, and loosely regulated days of professional football. In that game against the Milwaukee Badgers, Schaffner first scored a touchdown for his own team, the Tornadoes. Then, in a truly bizarre sequence, he intercepted a pass and got a bit confused, turned around, and ran it back into the wrong end zone, unintentionally scoring a touchdown for the other team, the Badgers. Because of a now obsolete rule about how intercepted passes are treated near the goal line, the self-inflicted play actually counted as a 6-point touchdown for Milwaukee. Modern rules would classify running an interception into the wrong end zone as a safety or a dead ball, but Schaffner was playing at a time when the rules were a little bit different, and he unintentionally ran himself into the history books. Number 4. Law enforcement once used the promise of free football tickets to lure and arrest dozens of fugitives and wanted criminals in a legendary sting known as Operation Flagship. In December of 1985, the U.S. Marshal Service and the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department created a fictitious organization called Flagship International Sports Television. They mailed over 3,000 official-looking invitations to wanted criminals with outstanding warrants, informing them that they had won 2 free tickets to an upcoming Washington football game, plus a free brunch and a chance to win a grand prize trip to the Super Bowl. The criminals were told to show up at the Washington Convention Center to claim their prize. On the day of the fake event, undercover marshals and police officers posed as tuxedo-wearing ushers, caterers, and even cheerleaders who were strategically giving out hugs to discreetly pat down the attendees and search for weapons. Out of the 3,000 invites, 167 fugitives showed up. They were then ushered into a side room to claim their prize, and a special operations team stormed the room, arresting over 100 criminals on the spot without a single injury, making it one of the largest mass arrests in U.S. law enforcement history. And our 5th and final fun fact for today: the Super Bowl is the second largest food consumption day in the United States. If you're wondering what the largest food consumption day in the U.S. would be, well, unsurprisingly, it's Thanksgiving, but the Super Bowl's not far behind. On Super Bowl Sunday, Americans consume an astonishing amount of food, with popular choices including chicken wings, pizza, nachos, and various dips. Estimates suggest that over 1 billion chicken wings are eaten, along with millions of pizzas. Because Super Bowl Sunday is not just a day to sit and watch the big game. There's a widespread tradition of hosting gatherings and parties to watch the championship game together. The culinary indulgence, just like watching the high-profile ads, has become as much a part of the Super Bowl experience as the game itself. Now for some news you can use. If you're planning to watch the big game with a group and you want to make sure your food is the best it can be, here are a few quick tips. One of the best bits of advice for keeping your dips and snacks at the perfect temperature is to use a slow cooker or a chafing dish. For hot dips like queso or buffalo chicken dip, a slow cooker set on warm will keep them melty and delicious throughout the game, so you don't have to worry about them getting cold and congealed. Conversely, for cold dips like guacamole or 7-layer dip, you can create an ice bath in a larger bowl or container and place your dip bowl inside of that. This will keep your cold snacks refreshingly chilled, preventing them from spoiling or losing their appeal as the party goes on. You don't want to do all that hard work in preparing meals and snacks just to let it go to waste in the serving. So make sure you put your foods in the best possible dish so you and your guests can fully enjoy the game and all of your culinary creations. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked about the evolution of the name for the AFL-NFL World Championship game, if the marketing experts recommended playing off Superman to come up with the Super Bowl. It's a fun story, but it's a fallacy. While it is true that the first championship game in 1967 did not sell out, it remains the only one in history not to. The part about the big game and Superman is complete fiction. The official name was originally the very formal AFL-NFL World Championship game, which everyone agreed was a mouthful. The name Super Bowl was actually coined almost accidentally by Lamar Hunt, the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Hunt wrote a letter to the NFL commissioner referencing his children's popular toy, the Super Ball, and jokingly referred to the game as the Super Bowl. The name was so catchy that the media immediately picked it up, and though the league initially resisted, the popular term stuck, ultimately replacing that boring official title forever. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about American football with me today, and be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.